What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Business of Strength podcast. I'll be your host today, Dan Goodman, and I am joined by my friend Mike Necsutu. He is the CEO of RAF Strength and Fitness. He is a colleague of Mike Lisi, who has been recently on the show. And Mike, Street Teams Mike, as I like to refer to him as, and he'll get to it on the show here. He started as an intern with Mike and John at RAF 7 or 8 years ago, and is now the CEO of RAF Strength and Fitness. He is a partner of Ignite Entrepreneurs, and he is somebody that is well intentioned. He's been a part of the business of strength for 2 years. And anybody that meets him, he's a guy it's hard not to like him. You know, when you think about the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, Mike's somebody, when he walks in a room, he is, he's the life of the party. He's a likable person and just well-intentioned. And it has served him really well in his career thus far. And if you're a fitness professional that, you're unsure if you could make your own way at somebody else's gym, you're not sure what path you want to take, this is an episode that you can't miss. If you're a gym owner right now that is looking to lead others, there is a lot of gems in this episode, so you don't want to miss it. So without further ado, here is Mike Necsutu on the Business of Strength podcast. Enjoy, everyone. Mike, welcome to the Business of Strength podcast. For the listeners that don't know you, obviously we had your counterpart, Big Mike Lisi, on the show last week, and we're following up here with a big 1-2 punch. Please introduce yourself, man.
All right. Well, first of all, thanks for having me. And yeah, my name is Mike. I'm just a kid from Queens that accidentally stepped into a gym and kind of just went from there. A car guy my whole life. I mean, I grew up doing labor work, man. I learned furniture refinishing, antique restoration, and car detailing, like when I was like 10. So literally, I've been spending my whole life doing that. 31 years old now, and I'm a trainer, CEO of RAF Strength and Fitness. We're a gym in West Hempstead, and I'm a co-owner of Ignite Entrepreneurs with Mike Lisi and Kayla Hendrickson.
That's awesome, man. So before the show, as always, I always do a little back research on the guests. Obviously, I know you, Mike, for some time now. We've shared some great seminars together, the Business of Strength, and just a great dude, and excited to have you on here. I did stumble across a YouTube channel where the Street Teams Mike actually came to life. So I saw you. I don't know how old you are, maybe 17, 18 years old. It was like a Fast and the Furious car commercial, but I got a couple good laughs out of that one.
Well, that's where my nickname Street Dreams Mike comes from. That's my Instagram handle too. So I used to run I used to run a car club in New York here, and I mean, at one point it was one of the biggest ones around too, and it got a little crazy. So we would always do ratchet stuff with fast and loud cars, and just my neighbors love me.
Yeah, it's awesome. So obviously I know the story, and the title of this episode is Intern to CEO. And you walked into RAF once upon a time by accident, and now here you are a decade later. Like, how did this come to be, man? It's really a unique story that I would like people to be able to hear.
So I went to school. I went to Queens College, and I did the nutrition and exercise science program. I didn't the first year that I was in that program, I didn't know I was in that program. I thought I was in nutrition. I didn't know that that's just the name. It's mainly exercise science. So my parents, they're old school Eastern European, like work, do labor, find your way, make something of yourself, work nonstop 16 hours a day, but just get a degree. I don't care about anything else. Get a degree. So I went to college just because they have always been very good parents. So I wanted to get the degree to make them happy.
Mm-hmm.
But like realistically, I was gonna open up a car shop with my buddy, you know, we had a deal for a shop in the Bronx at the time too. So it almost went a completely different direction from where I am now. Um, the head of that department at Queens College, Professor Azzolini, she kind of loved my honesty, the fact that I had no care in the world about the subject. I just wanted a degree. She looked at me, she's like, "Where do you see yourself in 5 years?" And I'm like, "Working on cars in the Bronx."
That's awesome.
She's like, "What?" And so since then, she kind of like nudged me in the right direction to make sure that I kind of like do good in this program and everything. And the last semester in that program, you have to get an internship. And they give you a little pamphlet with like the top corporate gyms and like the highest grossing, who takes interns into careers. And I'm not a corporate guy at all. I'm sure you could tell. And I took that pamphlet and I literally flipped it backwards, and like the last name was Island something. I don't even remember the name, but the address of it was like down the block from where this gym is. So I set up a site visit with them and everything, and I'm driving here. I guess I completely missed that gym, and I walk into this one, and Mike Lisi's downstairs, and I guess he had a site visit set up too, because it felt like he kind of expected me. And I walked in, he introduced himself, I introduced myself, we shook hands. I saw the big RAF logo. Am I allowed to curse on this thing? I don't know.
Of course, dude.
Sweet.
Come on, man.
Knew I loved it here. And I looked at him, I'm like, does that stand for ready as fuck? And he just laughed and he's like, you're gonna do fine. You're gonna do great here. And honestly, since then, I just never left. I just never left. I just stayed here through the internship, extended into a job. Uh, wasn't much of a job. It didn't pay anything really, but I just had a really, really good gut feeling about this place and about Mike and John Feliciano, the co-owner at RAF.
Mhm.
I just loved the people here. I loved how this gym was. And at the time, it wasn't much of a gym to really look at. It was one floor, half turf, half mat. It was like a two-sided squat rack, some dumbbells, and 4 benches, and some med bowls. There wasn't much in here. And
So,
now, yeah,
so why'd you stick around?
more than anything, Dan, honestly, it was a gut feeling. It was a gut feeling that these are good people. There's good vibes here. There's growth available. And I never felt that in a corporate environment. That's why I
Mhm.
never went into any sort of corporate environment, even with cars, even with
Mhm.
furniture and antique restoration. Like I never did any of that because it's too corporate for me and I wouldn't fit in. I would not be able to add my personal touch to it and help it grow. Here, I felt like it was kind of like I don't want to say like a blank canvas, but it was a canvas ready to be continued and
Mhm.
grow. And the thing that I love about cars is that you can always do more with them. That's
Mhm.
the one thing that you can do with cars that I always loved.
That's
And
interesting.
I felt that here about this place.
So,
So I fell in love with it. So I just stayed.
yeah, so with I love that. With Mike and John, they've obviously empowered you to um really be on a growth journey within that business to take on more and be fulfilled with your work. Talk about what some of those responsibilities were then as compared to now, because a lot of people listen. It's like, man, like you stumbled in. It wasn't even your internship, and now you're the CEO. Like, there is a huge time continuum there. Like, what happened, man? What were the things? What were the conversations? What have you studied? What type of team member have you been uh, for both John and Mike for them to say, you know what, it's time for us to get out of this guy's way and really let him flex into a new role?
So off the bat, when I was an intern, there like it was like a real internship. Like I wasn't doing anything special. I was watching them, helping them grab weights, demoing simple stuff like med ball overhead slams and a bench press. There wasn't anything special to it there, but they both John and Mike, they do a really great job of like teaching you if you show that you're willing to accept the lesson.
Mm-hmm.
Not like you're, come in forehead front first and just be like, okay, I know everything. I go to school for this. Like my degree, even though I did the degree for exactly this, right? And I finished it at the time of the internship, I still, to me, I still knew nothing about it. Even though I knew the science behind it, I had the degree, I was doing the certification and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I still looked at John and Mike and like, okay, dude, I know nothing. Teach me. I will work. So, first of all, like the first thing I did was just made sure that I'm dependable. All right. If I'm the only one in here that doesn't really know what to do or how to do it, then let me make myself useful and be dependable. Something's happening at 6 o'clock. I'm gonna be here at 5:30. There's no doubt about it. You can count on me. I'll show up. I'll do the work. If I mess it up, I'm not gonna make excuses for it, but I'm gonna tell you like, all right, what do I do now? Cool. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna do it. Bust your ass. Really. That's like the easiest way to put it. Just bust your ass and do the work. Um, and I kept that mindset throughout the whole time. As years gone by, there's like, they wanted to grow themselves, so they didn't want to do every aspect of the business. So I was there and I'm like, well, I've been doing all of this work and I've been doing it good. Give me some more work, test me out. Uh, so about a year, I think it was a year and a half into me actually being here, they made me head of the program for adult fitness. So I started doing all the workouts, writing it up, making sure that people are coming and enjoying the workouts and the workouts flow. That grew into a position where I'm like also in charge of the sales portion of the adult program. That grew into a position of, all right, help out with the athletes a little bit sales wise. Um, Literally just step by step, man. You don't have to overthink it or shoot for the stars. Just kind of like try to be a little better than you were a month ago. And little by little, it does add up over time.
So you've worked at RAF now for how many years?
I think we're going into 7.
Year 7. Okay, so like, at what point did you um really have that aha moment? Is like, because at the beginning you're young, it's like you're doing an internship. Wow, I really like these people. I love working out. I'm getting paid. I remember getting paid $200 for a week of like a literally like 40 sessions and be like, oh man, this is amazing. I'm actually getting paid to do this. As your skills started to elevate, when did you really have that aha moment where it's like, wow, like I might be able to make a real career at RAF? When did that really click for you? About how long into working at RAF did that start to click for you?
So this is more of a two-part thing. There was a aha moment, I want to do this, and then a aha moment, shit, I gotta get this done right now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, about a year into it, I saw the rate of acceleration of how this place is moving. And I really love that. So I said, all right, physically, this is more doable into my 40s, 50s, and 60s as a career than what I'm doing now. At the time, I was a automotive detailer. So I had my own detail in place. And it's just crazy labor and terrible for you because it's chemicals and shitty dust and everything. So at that point, I said, okay, I'm willing to sacrifice some hours of my week from my detailing where I made really good money to invest into here because I feel like in the future, this is going to be a good career path for me, not only income wise, but also health wise and keep the capability of having a life too.
Mm-hmm.
That was about a year into being here. Um, about 3 years into being here, I had some health complications. And I mean, at one point, I coughed into a napkin, and there was like silver stuff all over the napkin. So I ended up going to a doctor, and there was like stuff in my lungs, and the chemical components of it are exactly are exactly what I work with on cars. So obviously, if that is happening at I was what 28, if that's happening at 28, it's gonna happen at 45, right?
Yeah.
That's it. It's It's not gonna be. I remember I was on a Zoom call with a bunch of other detailers. It was kind of like a mastermind for detailers.
Hmm.
And it was supposed to be like the top detailers from the country, and none of them were over 45. And I'm like, why is that? Are they here? Are they alive? Are they on the
Right.
planet?
Yeah.
So that kind of gave me an aha moment of, okay, I need to really invest my effort and time into RAF.
Yep.
So I had to talk with Mike, and right around then is when he he pushed me into being COO of the company.
Hmm.
And we got to work right away, and he started teaching me the behind the scenes stuff, the scorecard stuff, automations, Ignite, and the entire CRM platform is something I knew zip about. I was technologically terrible at everything. Outside of Instagram and Facebook, you couldn't talk to me about computers. And slowly I just started learning it and doing it for RAF, and somehow I got good at it. And that's where kind of Ignite got into play also. You know,
So, I love this story, and there's a lot of similarities here with, we have Big Mike that's grown into our GM of our headquarters location in Orangeburg, and I wrote down a couple of things, and if I could, describe and use some adjectives to describe our, Big Mike, it's dependables, definitely one, no excuses, bust your ass. And I look at his skill set, and as it's risen, it's just the willingness to do what's required, right? And you look at it, it's like a lot of people, myself included, be like, I'm not a tech guy.
yeah.
It's like, well, you know, are you not a tech guy, or are you just unwilling to learn, right? And you've always been willing to learn, and that's why you've been successful, and that's why you continue to be successful. You're curious, you ask the right questions, in terms of being on calls and being thoughtful. I don't think you ever miss, and that quality has served you really well. For the audience that's listening, there's a lot of people that listen to this show, Mike, that are gym owners, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of people that are not. They're towing the water on if they want to open a gym. They're towing the water to see, is the fitness industry, can I make it without opening a business? Well, you've gone against the grain, as has Big Mike, and not opened your own gym business and are doing exceptionally well. What would be a word of advice that you could give somebody like that is at a place, they're not sure if it's the right place? What are the qualities and the people at the place? What are some things that you would look for? And just really, like, what's your thought process on making it as a quote unquote employee in a gym business?
So personally, like I have this huge belief that, and this is from my dad and my grandfather taught me this. Whatever is yours and whatever is meant to be yours is set aside. You can't recreate it. You can't make it better or make it worse. It's there for you and it's set to the side. And this is a little controversial now. All right. I don't believe that you necessarily have to think about it, find it in your mind, and then go for it. I don't believe that. I don't think that you have to like strive for this one goal and just aim and shoot. I think as long as you just keep your head up and work, like, and I mean work with the good intention of everybody in mind. So that means good intention for yourself, so you could be better and being able to be open to learn. Good intention for your clientele. Like, do you really want to help them, or are you just doing good so you could get some money out of them? And also good intention of your coworkers and the people above you. As long as you have those three things and you work, whatever is yours is going to come to you.
I
You're not
love
going to
that.
go get it. It's going to come and find you. So people are listening right now that would like think like, crap, I gotta open my own gym to make some money. You don't have to. That's total bullshit, honestly. You 100% can, and Ignite will help you. But plug. But if you just work and you find people that are good and you have good intentions for them, you'll get everything you ever wanted, guaranteed.
I love that advice, Mike. I'm writing that down, and we talk about we're in a level in our leadership meeting. We have our leadership meeting every Monday, and we have one on Monday and two on Tuesday for each site. And this week, I have a one-on-one meeting with Big Mike, and like two rhinos, we were headbutting about something. We've worked together now for going on 16 years. Joe and I have worked together for 16 years. Adam and he's been here a decade. The one thing, this came up in Arizona at the retreat. Big Mike talked about it was intentions. And you just said it, if you are well intentioned,
Yeah.
and you want what's best for the people around you, I mean, it's the go-giver approach. You can have conflict in the workplace. You can be adversarial, right? You can have differences of opinions, which empowers people, right? Because your voice is being heard. But there can't be an absence of trust.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty certain that there isn't an absence of trust. I know that with people here, there's not an absence of trust, and I'm sure the feeling is mutual on your end. But being well intentioned is hugely important, and the people that you are working with or working for, they have to be well intentioned too. They have to really want what's best for you as well.
Yeah.
So that would be that would be my word of advice to them, just by seeing it here of people that have really transcended the expectation. All that is yours, or all that was supposed to be theirs, is already theirs, and we're still going.
Yeah.
So I love that.
And also that's honestly, it's not only like for your professional life too, that's for your personal life, dude. Like anything, your relationship with your friends, your relationship with your significant other, like that will work nonstop. That is a guarantee. Like if there's an equation of life, that might be it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that comes back to like how to win friends and influence people, and
Yep.
Cialdini's laws of influence. I mean, I think the first one is reciprocity. And a lot of times people will talk about reciprocity as like, hey, I gave you this thing, give me this thing back. I think
No.
the number one thing you can give people within reason is your time and attention.
Yeah.
Your time and attention. Like,
Yeah.
time and attention is currency. If you just show up, and even if you have a 2-minute exchange with somebody and you're focused on the exchange, you remember their name, you remember their interests, the next time that you come around and see them and you remember those things, like, that's currency of a well-intentioned person.
Yep.
Right. So I love that. Um, so moving on here. As it pertains specific to RAF, you all have experienced big time growth in the last year and a half.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about the whether it's strategy, whether it be like one campaign, whether it be things that you've done with CRM. Like, what are some of the things that have really attributed to the success in the last year or so?
So honestly, like the automations, yeah. That if you could put it in one word, it's automations. For example, right now for the summer, we have like 4 or 5 different offers out right now. We wouldn't be able to handle that if it wasn't for a good CRM system like Ignite or whoever else you use. But like it's almost impossible to handle all of that. Like things will get lost in the weeds. Like you're not too sure if this person coming from there, or is this person coming from that offer? Like how are you going to talk to them? The fact that you can have something automated that will reply to them, that will set them up in the right pipeline. It organizes your life and it gives you more free time, honestly. It gives you more free time to think about what's going to happen after these offers. It just frees up your life and it organizes things for you and your team as well. A good team is also key. I mean, Christine and Christine's our manager here. Frankie and Kenny, they do an excellent job at just keeping their roles going, and they help me out. I wouldn't be able to do what I do right now without them in place doing what they do.
So
a good team is key as well.
just asking a clarifying question here. I was talking to actually an online fitness influencer this morning, and I brought up, I said, hey, do you use a CRM? And this is somebody that has like, a big following, and they're like, what's a CRM? So talk to me about the tactics of the CRM. Like, how is it used? And more specifically, is that where you're spending the majority of your time? Like, lay out what that looks like, lay out how it works and operates, and really, like, what are you doing within the context of the CRM?
So a good CRM is basically your phone number, your email, your website hosting, all your funnel page hosting. So basically any offer that you want like a landing page on, hosting all that, but also the automations behind that while handling pipelines for your leads and the stages of what they're at. So a lead that opts in, then if they respond, now they're a hot lead. Now you know they're a little more important. So you have to get to them a little quicker. Do they book consultation? We have sections for all of that. Same thing goes for your members. We have a member pipeline with the tier that they're in. So are they group class? Are they semi-private training? Are they 2 or 3 times semi-private training per week? We can divide all that and have it organized for you. It lays out everything right in front of you so you know exactly where to go into, but it also handles any promotions that you want with automated responses, automated movements to send them where they need to go to. It's kind of like an all-in-one type of deal. It takes a lot of guesswork off of your end as a business owner or manager, and it really just makes things easier for you to flow into a sale. And then once you have them as a sale, you get to nurture them, to keep them. What's the point of making a sale if you're losing the members you have, right?
So how does it how would it help? So the person I was speaking to this morning, how would a CRM effectively help him nurture his current clients? How could it do that?
So best example I could give you right now is that, all right, if you have a member in your CRM system, in your gym, they're in a pipeline. That member is automatically hooked to what we start with is a 365-day flow. So right off the bat, they're going to get a welcome email. 15 days in, they're going to get a check-in phone call to see how they're doing. 30 days in, they get a Google review request and a big thank you for doing such. 45 days in, they get another check-in to see how everything is. 60 days in, they get a free bump up for a month, see if they like the tier on top of the one that they're doing. We have that set for 365 days. So there's constant communication going out to them, not in an annoying way, still spaced out fairly, to where they feel like, wow, okay, this business really cares. They're making an effort to reach out to me. I'm not getting lost. They're not forgetting about me. Meanwhile, on the back end, you don't have to do all of that. It's automated. It's set for you. It's there. You don't have to constantly be like, oh, I gotta reach out to Cindy today. Damn. All right, hold on. To that. And there's also internal notifications going to you, the person that's handling the CRM. So the manager or the business owner. Like if there's things you need to know, like, okay, I need to know when this person is half a year in so I could go up to them in person and congratulate them for staying so long. There's an internal notification that no one else will see coming out to you. It's awesome. It's really cool.
So every day now, so in a typical work week, I'm not sure people realize how much time they spend just thinking about these little things, right?
Yeah.
That are both offensive and defensive in terms of, getting clients and retaining the ones that you got. But in a normal work week, so somebody's listening to this, like, hey, I want Mike's job. What is
work, man?
what is in a normal week, how much time are you spending on the phone? How much time are you spending in meetings? Is your week laid out with memorable I'm putting you on the spot here, Mike, but do you have memorable meetings? Do you have, say, on Tuesday, hey, morning 8 to 1, I'm working the pipeline? Like, what does, you don't have to give absolute specifics, but what does a normal work week actually look like as the CEO of Graph?
All right, so I won't get too specific because it's like this nonstop, but almost every day I'm here at about 5:15 a.m.
Hmm.
Open the gym up and I do classes in the morning. My classes go until about 11 a.m.,
Hmm.
sometimes 10 a.m. And I do have breaks in there where there isn't any class, 1 to 2 hours, somewhere in between there. In those hours, I will get on Ignite and do stuff for RAF.
Hmm.
So I'll check who hasn't been responded to, get on Frankie or Christine if it was their duty to get back to them. If not, I'll handle it myself. Any automation that needs to be built out or a funnel website for an offer that we're throwing out soon is a challenge coming up. Let me check in with that. So I'll do Ignite stuff on the computer in that time for RAF. After 11 a.m. on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we have RAF meetings, upper management meetings, team meetings. We have some we call Wolf Hour.
Hmm.
So we
I
call
love
Wall
that.
Street. Everybody huddles up in one room. We close the gym down. We put a random channel on the TV just for shits and giggles, and we'll just go hard on sales, cold calling people as much as we can in 1 hour and see who gets the most sales, and that's the winner of the day.
Let me ask you, do you always make a sale during that hour?
No, no. I mean, there's times where we've made literally like 6 sales. There's times where we've made nothing. There's times when we didn't even have anyone pick up in that
Hmm.
hour. And there's six of us calling people. At least 20 people get called by each of us, and no one picked up. So it's sometimes a good day, it's sometimes a bad day, but we don't let it affect us. Like
It's volume.
it's volume. You know, after 11 a.m., after that 11 a.m. time slot where we do our meeting, I will spend pretty much the rest of the day in and out of meetings for Ignite, and handling basically everybody else's CRM system that we have in Ignite and doing stuff for them. In Ignite itself, I mostly handle the member aspect of a CRM system. So your member pipelines, your member automations, um, the uh, the the email and texting templates that go towards them, the verbiage, the logos have to look good, the colors have to look good. Like Varsity House and RAF, we have completely different colors, right? You're black and red, we're yellow and black and a little bit of blue. I have to make sure that all the forms are to your color. The logo is to your color. The verbiage is to your Varsity House verbiage. It can't just be the same.
Yeah, no,
So that's my part of it.
got it. Got
And
it.
I'll
So,
usually, depending on how much in that day is booked for me, I'll be in the office doing that anywhere from like 4 to 6:30, 7 p.m.
and then you're back at 5:15. First session's at 5:15. So what time are you getting up, Mike?
So I live in Queens. It's a little bit of a trip, and I like having like a morning where I can like take a breath, feed my cat, make a coffee. So I wake up at 3:45 every day.
Got it. And
Yeah.
you're at the gym for 5 o'clock.
Uh, latest I've ever gotten here was 5:15. Latest.
Got it. Got it.
I drive like hell, so.
And what about in terms of weekends? Are you working weekends? Like what does that look like for you?
So weekends, I won't really be in the gym unless there's like if we're doing like a 6 week challenge and there needs to be weigh-ins and they need extra hands, I'll come.
Right.
If there's trainers that are sick and they need extra hands, I'll be the guy that volunteers and I'll be here. Weekends usually I'll do some work on Ignite for the gym, but I'll try to free up some time to have a life also. Like I'm a big backyard kind of guy, so I like mow my lawn. I would like make sure the garage is good, house is kept up with, cars are
Cigars,
getting on.
cigars, little grill
Cigar, a
action.
little whiskey, you never know.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
listen, you have to, I know we talked about before balance of life and the idea of a balanced life is bullshit, but you have to at least try,
You got to
right?
try.
So
When are you getting your training in? Does it happen midday? Does it happen
so it
before you
usually
leave?
happens anywhere from 10 to 12 o'clock. I'll find like a 45-minute gap 3 times a week. I usually don't get more than that just because it's too packed for me. I mean, listen, for anyone listening right now, just know I don't have my shit together. So like I'm not the perfect employee. This shirt makes me look really good and professional, but I'm not. Like sugar's a mess out here, but you try to navigate the best you can, you know?
Yeah, and it's so funny, like and that's why I was excited to have you on because a lot of times, you'll in a role, like with the business of strength, we'll get to speak to, today it's crazy. Like I'm on the phone with you now. Right before this, I was on with a guy that's opening a gym in Lebanon. Before that, talking to somebody in New York City. Before that, talking to somebody in California. And it's just it puts you like like people think like, oh, you don't have problems in your business. We have problems in our business. Like we have problems in our business all the time. They just, the you've become a savvy a veteran and know how to deal with it and know how to keep your emotions even, and you've been there before, so you know how to quickly resolve the issue without it letting affect your day. So part of the fun of business and small business is being in the arena dealing with that, because I know I could speak for myself, and I wouldn't want a boring job.
No, oh my God, dude. I feared that my entire life. There's two things I feared professionally from when I was a little kid. Graduating with debt and then a job that makes me want to just fall asleep every day. And I don't know, those are two things that when I was a teenager, I focused on avoiding at all costs. But you gotta laugh in the face of chaos, man. There's always gonna be problems. No matter what you are, no matter how much you love your job or how much you laugh and smile, there's always gonna be problems. That's the one thing life will guarantee for you. But you gotta laugh at it and move on with it. Just
You
keep
gotta
going.
you
Push
gotta
through.
ride the lightning, baby. That's what it's
Go.
about. That's awesome. So, Mike, just obviously, just I know you're a busy guy, and really appreciate you being on today. But to wrap up, what does the future look like for you? What does the next 1 or 3 years look like for you, man?
So I don't like planning like a 5-year goal. I'm not that kind of guy. I like doing like 1-year goals.
Hmm.
What your goals, and if I don't hit it, that's all right. I did my best type of deal. But I always strive just to be better. I know for a fact that I want to do more with RAF. I want to do more with Ignite. And I know for a fact we will. For Ignite, there is a 5-year goal of 500 accounts.
Hmm.
And I think we're definitely going to hit that. I'm very happy and content with that. For RAF, right now the goal is a million bucks. And
By Jan 1, 2025.
yep, yep. And if we don't hit it, we'll come close, and I'm okay with that. I'm good with that. It's gonna give me more fuel to go over a million the next year, you know?
Hey, man, you still got 6 months and 20. It's June 6th. You got almost 7 months, bro. We got plenty of time.
A lot of chaos on the way. I like it.
That's cool. Well, Mike, thanks so much for being on the show. Where can people get in touch with you, man?
So honestly, Instagram is the best way to reach me. Street Dreams Mike, classic. That's the best way to reach me. And yeah, you can reach me about anything for RAF, for Ignite. We do have a little discount going on for Ignite through people that come through BOS. So if you're interested about that, definitely reach out to me. But if you're just interested in talking about more about like not being a gym owner and doing good for yourself in the gym business, reach out to me. I'm always available to talk.
Yeah, cool.
Never say no.
Awesome. We have last episode with Mike Lisi, we have the half off the first month. I know a couple people hit me up about it, so I'll make sure we drop that in the show notes. And this episode will, like today's Thursday, we'll get it out next week. So, Mike, thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, man. This was honestly an honor. I've been listening to the podcast for a while too, so to actually be on it and with my buddy over here, that's great. It's awesome.
It was a pleasure, man. Thanks again.
Thanks, man.